I'll call to order the regular council meeting for the Corporation of Brudenell, Lindmark and Raglan. It's first day of June 2022 at 7 p.m. I'll do roll call. Councillor Banks.
Yes.
Councillor Young.
Here.
Councillor Kuffa.
Here.
Councillor Ravitch.
Here.
Thank you. First resolution of the night reads that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of Brudenell, Lindmark and Raglan adopt the agenda as amended to include the bylaw to appoint the chief building official. I need a mover on that. Councillor Yuan, and seconder. Councillor Banks, all in favor?
Yes.
And that is carried. Disclosure procuring interest with any of the matters before us tonight. Anybody, council?
No.
None? Okay. So we have one delegation tonight. And the name that I have, of course, it's somebody different. So we have Cassia, and she is going to talk to us about food cycle science. I believe it's in an effort to divert food waste from our landfill. So, Cassia, can you hear me?
I can, yes. Thank you very much for welcoming me to your meeting.
No, it's nice to have you.
So I can go ahead and share my screen if that's okay. And I can start the presentation. Okay. May I have permission to share my screen, please?
Yeah, I think we're working on it.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you should be able to give it a try.
Perfect. Thank you. Wonderful. Okay. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. Just move this out of the way. Okay, perfect. Good evening, Mayor, members of council, and staff. My name is Cassia Renier, and I'm here on behalf of Food Cycle Science to discuss food waste, residential food waste solutions. So just a little bit about Food Cycle Science. We're based in Ottawa, not too far from you. We're founded in Cornwall, and we're completely focused on finding residential food waste solutions. So we sell directly to consumers through partnerships like Vitamix. We work with a variety of schools, but most importantly, now we offer our solutions to municipalities. And we currently have 37 Canadian municipal partners from coast to coast. Near your township, there is Bancroft, Carleton Place, Smith Falls, and Trent Lakes, who are all in various stages of their pilots. So the problem with food waste, there are many problems, but it's avoidable, it's expensive, it smells bad, but most importantly, it's really bad for the environment. So when food waste is sent to the landfill, it decomposes and produces methane, which is a greenhouse gas that is more potent than carbon dioxide. And one of the consequences to municipalities is that because household food waste makes up the majority of household waste, landfills are filling up very fast, which is very expensive and bad for the environment. Food waste in landfill or garbage attracts unwanted visitors, which, if you live in the country, is a common problem. So we often get asked, haven't we solved this already? And there are some solutions such as green bins, which are expensive and have low participation rates. And you still have trucks on the roads, which is not good for the environment and introduces safety concerns as well. We strongly encourage people to backyard compost. However, it's not a reality for everyone. And of course, the easiest solution is the landfill, which, as I mentioned, is not a great solution. So our solution is called the Food Cycler, and you use it in 3 very simple steps. You put your food waste in the bucket, you put the bucket in the Food Cycler, and you press start, and that's it. So in about 4 to 6 hours, depending on what you put in the bucket, you get a soil amendment product. So the Food Cycler reduces the volume of your food waste by about 90%, and it uses about the same energy as having a laptop plugged in for the same amount of time. So the soil amendment can be used for gardening. It's good for compost piles if you do compost. Some of our partners have community composting programs where individuals can drop off their soil amendment product. It has really a variety of uses. So in terms of an environmental impact of the Food Cycler, we conducted a life cycle analysis, and we found that the Food Cycler is comparable to central composting or backyard composting if it's done correctly. And when you compare the Food Cycler to sending your food waste to the landfill, the Food Cycler offers about a 95% reduction in CO2 emissions. So in terms of the economic impact, traditional organic services are expensive. Traditional landfill services also expensive. It's a process. You take the food waste and the garbage, it gets hauled somewhere, taken to a transfer station, and then there are disposal fees as well. The costs they're high, they're ongoing, and they can change at any moment. However, our solution is a fixed cost, high yield, it's expensive, it's effective, and no transportation or processing is needed. And what we've been seeing in a variety of communities is that constituents really want solutions in their own hands to reduce their environmental impact. Waste is seen as a governmental municipal problem, and we know that regulations are coming. And so we have completed over 14 pilots in municipalities. This number needs to be updated. It's more than 14. And we've diverted a lot of new, there's been a lot of new net diversion, which is really exciting. Residents give us about a 4.6 star rating out of 5, which is really great. And one city in Nelson, BC is actually putting a Food Cycler in every home. So that will be their main solution for organics. So the way our pilot programs work, we typically run them for about 12 weeks. So at the start, the residents purchase the Food Cycler at a subsidized rate. The residents use the Food Cycler for 12 weeks, and the amount of food waste diverted is tracked throughout the 12 weeks to estimate total diversion achieved. At the end, residents fill out a survey. They provide their review of the program. We analyze the survey results and we provide it back to the municipality. And of course, we write a report, and next steps and grants are explored with the municipality. And so the way we structure the cost for the pilot programs is that the Food Cycler retails for $500. We provide an investment of $200, and we suggest that the municipality splits the cost with the resident. So the municipality invests $125, leaving the resident cost to be $175. And for the size of your population, we recommend a pilot of about 50 households. And so I ask that you receive this presentation as information, and if there's interest, that you refer to staff. And we also have an affordable option for low-income residents that is available. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have for tonight. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so we'll probably try and get you back to screen here so we can see you.
Sorry, there we go. Thank you.
Thanks. Just thanks for the presentation, first of all. Does any members of council have any questions for Cassia? Okay, Councilor Crawford.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, does the Food Cycler have filters, and how often do they have to replace, and how much are they?
Absolutely. Thank you for your question. So the filters this month are actually going to be refillable. So the cost is predicted to be about $40 per year. And the filters are strictly for smell. So if your food cycle is in the garage, you don't need to change your filters, but if you keep it on your countertop, we recommend changing the filters between 3 to 6 months, depending on use.
So you're saying that you would do an initial pilot project to see what the interest is, and then we would decide whether we proceed? Is that the process?
So what we've been doing so far is starting with pilot projects to see, yes, if there's interest in the community, how the residents perceive it, how the government likes it. And then, yes, so after a pilot, we move on to further expansion if there is interest. That's what has been working so far. So that's the model we're sticking with right now.
Yep.
So then, all your municipalities, are any of them beyond the pilot project?
Pardon? Sorry, I missed the first part of your question. Sorry.
So has any of your municipalities moved beyond the pilot project?
Yes, that's a good question. So yes, one of our municipalities is putting a food cycler in every home. They had a green bin service, but now they're going to do the green bin service only 4 times a year, just for the byproduct. We have other municipalities who are doing second pilot projects. For example, Trent Lakes just finished a pilot of 150 units, and they're launching another pilot of 250 units because there was so much interest. We also have other options for municipalities that want to offer it to residents that want this service. So we're pretty flexible, but yes, the majority of our municipalities have moved on, and we do have many that are in progress right now.
Sorry. When would you want to start this?
So the start date can be whenever you'd like. We have inventory, we're ready to go. We've done this almost 40 times now, so we're used to the process. It's really up to your discretion.
I guess my only question is, what would the capacity of this food cycler be? And basically, I guess what I'm hearing is, it's basically a compostable material that anybody, if they had a garden, say, that they could use that in?
Thank you for your question. So the food cycler, the bucket can take 1 kilogram of food waste and reduces it by 90%, so about 2.5 liters. And yes, so if you garden, we recommend mixing the byproduct with the soil. It's very rich in phosphorus, potassium, and nitrogen. So we did a study with the St. Lawrence River Institute, and they found that it was very beneficial for growing plants. People use it, people that do compost use it in their compost piles, and because it has a high surface area, it's very good for composting. And we do have community drop-off sites as well that people just find it easy to, if they don't garden or if they live in apartments, they just drop it off there.
That's rather interesting.
So Cassia, is there a warranty? And if there is, how long is the warranty?
Absolutely. Thank you for your question. So the warranty for the pilot projects is just standard 1 year. However, with expansion, we offer warranties of up to 12 years. Sorry, I had to think about those numbers for a second. Yes, so our highest warranty is 12 years. So we do think a lot about the end of life of these units, and we have programs in place that allow us to switch if something happens to a machine, which is rare. We can switch parts out instead of having to switch the whole machine. So our warranty is quite long.
How big are these units?
So the units are about the size of a bread maker. They can fit on your countertop if you'd like, or in your garage, wherever there's a plug, but yeah, about the size of a air fryer, or a bit bigger than an air fryer, but about like a bread maker. And we are coming out with a new unit at the end of the year that will be able to process twice as much as the current model.
Those other questions? Well, thanks a lot for your presentation. Of course, we'll get staff to look a little further into it and bring it back to council at a later date. So, yeah, well, that was great.
Yes, thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure meeting you all. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
Council?
To the mayor, we can bring back the report.
Okay. So before we move on, I just have a few words to say. This past week, we, in the municipality, had an employee retire that's been here, of course, for many years. Herbie Genrick is an employee of 47 years with the municipality. Talking to Herbie over the last couple of months, the thought of retirement never came easy for him. When I sometimes describe people, I know I often refer to them as being cut from a certain piece of cloth. Herbie came from a generation where employees took a lot of pride in their job, where if they were happy with their job, employers often had an employee for life. Herbie took a lot of pride in his work, grading, snow plowing, knowing problem spots during the spring melt to check on. Herbie never minded repairing vehicles in the township garage and was never afraid of tackling any project. I know he saved the municipality much money over the years, fixing things and not having to call a mechanic. Of course, if you knew Herbie at all, he had a very comical side to him, and he often would make that expressions quite often. And you never knew what he was going to say when that mischievous grin appeared. A few years ago, when he was snowplowing, he unfortunately knocked my mailbox out. Herbie, of course, fixed it on the way out the road. I was able to give him quite a ribbing for that. As part of his retirement, Herb went on a trip this past week, which included a flight to a remote fishing destination. His remark to me before he left was, "I've never flown before, so I'm taking a pail of sand with me, put my feet in so that I feel like I'm on the ground." Herb, your knowledge as an employee that I've ever spent this much time on the job will be greatly missed, and especially to this municipality. To his wife Liz, that has wanted a home for a while now, congratulations, you have Herb. Herb, have fun on the farm and take some more time for fishing.
Yes, thank you, Herb.
Thank you, Herbie.
Thank you.
So adoption of the minutes. That we, the council, for the township of Greenville, Lynn, and Wright, hereby adopt the minutes of the regular council meeting of May 4th, 2022. Special council meeting May 12th, 2022, and public meeting of May 26th, 2022 as circulated. Do I have a mover on that? Councilor Felfeld, seconder, Councilor Banks. Errors or omissions on the minutes as well? Seeing none, all in favor, I'll call for the vote then. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and that is carried. So we have one report on direction received, and the resolution says that we, the council for the corporation of Township of Greenville and Niagara, hereby accept the report as presented. Any move on that? Councilor Felfeld, seconder, Councilor Young. Any discussion on the resolution? All in favor then?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that is carried. Okay, so before I introduce the resolution for correspondence, is there any items that council wishes to move on correspondence for further discussion? Any action items?
I think the letter from Gerald Tracy.
Okay. Any other? Okay. So then I'll read the resolution that we, the council from the corporation of Blue Island of Greg, hereby accept the correspondence as circulated. Any mover on that? Councilor Banks, second, Councilor Young, all in favor?
Yes.
Okay, and that's carried. And Councilor Young, you would like to say something about the electricity?
I think we should, I would like to see our municipality donate something to this auction for the raising money for Ukraine. It seems like everybody in the area is participating, and I don't know if anybody's read even the leader, like they have a lot of donations so far.
Did you have anything in mind, Emily?
No, I didn't really think that far ahead. We could set a dollar limit and then just pick something up, like maybe lawn something, or maybe a deck or a patio or a tool, or, you know, whatever, or a gift card from somewhere. Like, it doesn't have to be anything big, like, but something.
If they're going to auction it off, then we have to make a donation to them. The stuff they're getting, they're going to auction it off, as I understand. So if we just made a cash donation, it would go straight to the meter.
I suppose we could make a cash donation too.
I'd rather than buy something. That's all I
Yeah.
figure. Because they're going to auction it off.
So through the mayor, yes, you can make cash donations, and another municipality involved in making their donation as a cash donation, so. On, you know, if you donate something and it sells for less than what your cash donation was to buy it, but it could go the other way too, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think a cash donation would probably be good.
Do now we budget for a certain. So I'm not sure exactly how much that is, but. Council's thoughts on how much we wish to contribute?
How much do we usually give to something like this? And this is our first time.
I'd say this is rather new,
Oh,
so.
I make a motion that we donate $100.
Second for that,
Also,
discussion on that?
yeah, that's okay with me.
that's, you know, so-
Yeah, no, there's now time for discussion.
well, no, it was better because I noticed in Gerald City, he said the car, I was thinking the building inspector.
Yeah,
I was thinking the same thing. I'm not so
you
sure.
probably have the scrap dealer come and get it. But that he might get more than $100.
More discussion on the motion. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, that's carried.
Don't you open that up also go to the public to donate stuff, if they want it, you can free to advertise, and if they want to donate something in the way of material things, or was this just strictly for the municipality?
no, it's for anybody.
It's for anyone. Yeah,
Because if we wrote a letter, if we advertise, I'd make my truck and trailer, truck it to the destination for auction. If, there's some stuff to go down, but I'm not gonna haul junk.
no, if it's something that's
Yeah.
worthwhile.
No, it's- It's gotta be new or like,
Yes, yes. Yeah, I mean, the letter does say anything that you can contribute, right? But I mean, even as individuals, like you called it, can make contributions.
That's just a little sideline off of the municipality. Or someone can make up that notice for the public and put it on our webpage. So, and maybe check with Gerald what the delivery. Pickup and delivery.
but, and Gerald has advertised it out in the paper and that. They have a committee that's looking after it.
That's right.
It's Gerald Sigmund and Dix or Donahue,
Yeah.
and Preston calls the auctioneer.
Well, press the call.
If somebody wants to donate something, bring it here. And John will haul
Well, no, I'll pick it up. But it's, you know, it's within the group's power.
So
it.
that's,
Maybe simpler though, just to pick it up and all of them.
Well, it would be, but some people don't have a way maybe of getting it even here.
so John, I guess what you're saying is you're not doing this as a counselor,
No.
you're doing this as somebody in the community and you would
Right.
like the word to be put out.
Yeah.
If they have something that they wish to donate to the cause, that they can call you and you would deliver that or arrange for pickup somehow with the organizers. Right.
But it can't be just something they want to get rid of because they don't want.
No, it has to
No.
be, I mean, I think John will know whether or
Yeah.
not it's worthwhile to, you know,
Yeah.
provide to the cause, so. Okay. Thanks, John, for that. Okay, so we're all down to correspondence, we're now down to new business, item 8.1, and we have a severance application. And the resolution says that the council for the corporation of the township of Greenville, Lindmark and Raglan approve the land severance application number B206/21 from Ernest Laverne Brewer for the creation of one new lot with the condition that all the conditions as listed in the county graphic planning report concerning this division of land are met. You move Councilor Banks, the second Councilor Couchfeld. Any discussion or questions of the resolution? Seeing none, I'll call for vote then. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
And that is carried. Second item is item 8.2, and it's also a severance application. The resolution says that the council for the corporation of the township of Rudell, Lindmark and Raglan approve the land severance application number B24/22 from Ronnie Goodard for the creation of one new lot with the condition that all the conditions as listed in the county graphic planning report concerning this division of land are met. Any move on that, Councilor Young, second, Councilor Rutledge, any discussion on this resolution?
He's finished, he's done the road extension he was supposed to.
Yes, that is, yes. All those in favor?
Yes.
And that is carried. Item 8.3, and we have a discussion on the LEAP program. And there is a staff report attached to that. So I will let Tammy read this for staff.
All right, through our electronic service provider, Ready Recycling, we were provided a notice that due to the population in our township, that we are only permitted to have one lead in drop-off location for your electronics. Our busiest site is the Palmer Rapids site, right, west site. And there's different options that we can reduce down to one bin at one location, but residents would have to all go to that one location. It can be up your choice. We can keep 3 bins in operation, but we would be charged $50 per month for additional bin. So $100 per month, $1,200 per year, and they will still pick up. So the offer, if you wanted to purchase 2 bins, the estimated cost of purchasing 2 bins would be $18,400, and then we would transfer materials to the pickup site.
How often do they dump these bins?
It varies, but 2 to 3 months. Depending on how full we get, how much comes in.
Yeah.
It's not a scheduled pickup, the waste attendant calls when they're close to full.
Do we get paid for the recycling for those?
A little bit, yes.
So would we get away with one bin?
It's a
Fill up
long,
that quick.
it's a long drive up from Brunel to Palmer. It's not really,
Mhm.
I don't think that's an option.
Personally, for me, I like option 2, to keep the 3 bins in operation and assume the extra cost for the bin rentals. $1,200 per year. Residents are already used to putting that, those B items, I guess, in the bins where they are, and I need to see them end up somewhere else. And, you're gonna still assume staff costs if we have to move from location to location. Purchasing 2 bins at a cost of $18,400 is rather pricey, and then you have the responsibility of looking after the bin. So I think, for me, option 2 is the better option. Council's thoughts?
I think so.
Yeah,
Which is, my question earlier was just, I didn't know if we could get away with it.
Yeah.
It didn't think it would work.
yeah, I think $1,200 a year. Purchase 18,000, that gives you 9 years. It'll have changed probably by then.
Yeah.
Probably. So,
How much in recycling do we get per year out of those electronic components? We get that much of your watch?
I couldn't answer that question right now, we'll have to look into it, I can bring that information back.
No, it's fine.
So it's, council, any other comments? Okay, so it's Tammy will do the resolution. Okay, so the resolution says the council for the corporation of the township of Blue Mountain, Ontario, direct staff to keep 3 bins in operation, assuming extra costs for 2 bin rentals at $50 each per month, $1,200 per year plus taxes. I need a mover on that. Councilor Banks, seconder, Councilor Young. Any more discussion on the matter before I call for the vote? All those in favor?
yes,
And that is carried. That's item 8.4. The resolution says that we, the council for the corporation of the township of Brunel, Lindau, Niagara, authorize the municipal manager to proceed with the planning agreement with the county as presented. I need a mover on that, Councilor Banks, a seconder. Councilor Young. Discussion on the resolution.
so this is basically the agreement that we had come to us earlier this year. And is it, there going to be someone available at our office here if need be for the public or no?
No.
No, they're not going to.
I guess the best way to describe this would be it's a formality of what the county currently does now as a planning authority. Would I be correct in that?
Correct.
That's that.
Correct.
Yeah.
So this was just to ask if there was any comments.
Yeah.
We didn't receive any by the date that the council.
So more questions of the resolution? Okay, I'll call for the vote and all in favor.
Yes. Yes.
And that is carried. Item 8.5. Resolution says that council for the corporation of Brunel, Lindau, and Niagara will accept the request for proposal for the website. Cloud 9 web design of $10,800 plus HST and $360 plus HST annually for website hosting, and that we authorize the municipal manager to sign the agreement. Do I have a mover on that? Councilor Young, seconder, Councilor Buffalo. Comments, questions on the resolution?
Did we get many proposals? Two. Do you know anyone else that has used this?
Yes, so Cloud9 is also utilized by Bill Perry Richards, South of
Okay.
Baldwin, and Leo Mullins.
Okay.
Any more questions on this? All for the vote, and all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
And that's carried. We move down to item 8.6. The resolution says that we, the council for the corporation of the township of Brunel, Lindau, Niagara, accept the summer jobs report as presented. I need a mover on that. Councilor Buffalo, seconder. Councilor Rutledge. Any discussion on the staff report? I know right now it's for information only. Questions of staff?
So we'll only be hiring 2 students, correct?
Yeah,
Because they
so,
won't give us money for the ones that we're not hiring. We can't change the
You
positions.
can't change the duties.
Yeah,
So no swimming program.
yeah, so I guess that's the biggest thing about the report and for our residents, unfortunately, we're able to find people to run swim programs, so there'll be no swim program in summer. So all those in favor of the resolution then?
yes.
Item 8.7. And report, chief building official.
So through the mayor and speaker timing. For us, there's a bylaw to appoint a chief building official, and this will be a chief building official. That works as a contractor and will work until the township decides. The gentleman's name is Don Rigglesworth. And getting around to be
It's good. We can fill the gap. Now we're down to item 9.1. Also discussion regarding 2022 budget. Councilor Young?
Can I ask if we got questions from the concerned person that was wanted answers on the public meeting?
The one resident made comment at the public meeting on May 26th and was invited to provide further written comment, and no comments were received at all by noon the 12th.
And just through the mayor, the comments would be directed to the clerk by noon, because we hadn't even come on the agenda for this meeting. So not only did we not receive comments from that person, but there were no other comments because the council made a call. We didn't invite anyone that had any interest to make comments, so we understand.
So no receipt, right? So we're now down to bylaws. Item 10.1. We, the council for the corporation of the township of Rural Lynn, Raglan, hereby adopts bylaw 2022-28 and bylaw to designate authority for the municipal manager and deputy clerk treasurer and delaying that restrictions of the council following nomination. Move on the resolution, Councilor Rutledge. Second, Councilor Council. Any questions on the resolution? None?
No, it's the standard.
Standard. Yeah. Okay, so I'll call for the vote. Then all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
And that is carried. Item 10.2. And it's we, the council for the corporation of township of Brunel and Raglan, hereby adopts bylaw 2022-29 and the bylaw for the 2022 municipal budget, tax rates and penalties. So I have a mover on that. Councilor Banks, seconder. Councilor Kaufhouse. Any discussion on the resolution? No. No. I'd just like to take the time to congratulate staff on preparing, a balanced budget for council and for the residents, and one that continues to provide for the services for our residents. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Item 10.3. That we, the council for the corporation of the township of Raglan, hereby adopts bylaw 2022-30 being the bylaw to appoint the chief building official. I need a mover on that. Councilor Young, seconder, Councilor Rutledge. Any more questions of the new appointed? I guess you could call it interim building official. So, but we welcome the position.
Yes.
So all that is in favor then?
Yes.
And it's carried.
And we wish Mike well in his new
Position.
position.
Correct. So right now, we have a closed session. The resolution says, and we, the council for the corporation of the township of Goodell and Knock and Rag, look to closed session pursuant to municipal act 2001, section 2392, for the purposes of subsection B. One, personal matters of an identifiable individual for the municipal or local board employees. E1, litigation or potential litigation for the matter for administrative tribunals affecting municipality or local board. I need to move around that. Councilor Long, seconder. Councilor Banks, all those in favor?
Yes.
And that is carried. So the resolution says that the council for the corporation of Township of Brunel and Dartmouth on closed session at approximately 8:06 PM. I need a mover on that, Councilor Gretlich, seconder, Councilor Thanks. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
And that is carried. Resolution that we, the council for the corporation of Township of Brunel and Knock and hereby adopts bylaw 2022-30, being the bylaw proceedings of the June 1st, 2022 regular meeting of the council. And we'll go with that, Councilor Banks, the seconder, Councilor Capell, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and that is carried. Down to adjournment. This meeting adjourned at approximately 8:07 PM, and I simply need a mover, Councilor Yellen. And this meeting is adjourned.